Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Pryl, and I am the Executive Director of the University's President's Business Council and a member of the class of 1989. I hope that you and your families are well during this unprecedented time. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our PBC 2020 Honorees Announcement. I want to give a special welcome to so many of our past President's Medal recipients who join us this evening. We could not embark on this year's journey without your unwavering support. I also want to acknowledge alumni who join us from all over the country, including Texas, Colorado, Arizona, Florida, Virginia, and Massachusetts, in addition to those in the tri-state area. It is wonderful to have so many of you with us. Tonight, we formally kick off our 19th annual award celebration with the announcement of this year's President's Medal recipients. As you are aware, we have pivoted from our usual in-person gala at the Pierre in New York City and will be offering this year's celebration as a virtual event on Thursday, October 8th. More on this year's celebration at the end of our program, which also includes remarks from our PBC chair, our university president, and the introduction of the 2020 President's Medal recipients. For optimal viewing of our program this evening, we recommend you select the full screen mode on the top right corner of your screen. Finally, tonight's program is being recorded and will be viewable on our PBC Celebration website at scranton.edu/PBC Celebration. Now let me turn our program over to our PBC chair. Member of the class of 1983 and our 2016 President's Medal recipient, Frank Pern is the Global Chief Compliance Officer at JP Morgan Chase in New York City, and a former member of the university's Board of Trustees. We are fortunate to have him as our PBC chair and grateful for his tireless commitment to the university. Frank?
Tim, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. On behalf of myself and our PBC Vice Chair, Elizabeth Madden, I really want to welcome you all to our honoree announcement, and thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. And as Tim said, I do want to second his special welcome to many of our past presidential medal recipients. We really appreciate your commitment. You're taking the time to join us this evening and honoring our 2020 honorees, which we'll get to in a few minutes. I hope you're all doing well. Since we got together earlier this summer in some of the PBC webinars, which were, I thought, exceptionally well received, very topical, and we had tremendous participation from dozens, hundreds of our alumni. We talked about what we were thinking and what we were planning around this year's dinner, given the situation we're in. As Tim said, we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But most importantly, particularly given the times we're in, what we all agreed, and Father Pallars, as usual, was right there in the lead on this, was that given these times, we absolutely needed to continue our efforts around fundraising and continue with our tradition of honoring some very special family members of the university. We've achieved both of those, I think, with the proposal that you'll hear about in a few minutes. As many of you know, we usually do this announcement live and in person in New York, Philadelphia, sometimes Scranton and Washington, D.C., and generally most people have a cocktail or some type of drink in their hand. So while things are different, I did just want to raise a glass and say from my own part, I'm thrilled with our honorees and really, really want to thank them for allowing us to honor them and their contributions to the university and the city of Scranton. And you might be wondering what was in that glass. It's iced tea. It's not Long Island iced tea, it's Nestle iced tea. But I think you get the gist. I really wish we were together, but these times call for flexibility, and that's what we're doing here. So again, thank you all for joining us here. As we said, the fundraising aspect of the PBC, more critical this year than ever. I'm sure Father Pillars will touch on this in a few minutes, but the demand for financial aid and need has never been as pressing as it is these days. And our tradition of fundraising and raising presidential scholarship money needs to continue. And as I said, as we talked about this over the summer, our honorees were so gracious, recognizing that we would not have the traditional get together at the Pierre Hotel in New York, but that we would be doing something different virtually. You may recall last year at the Pierre, we went to black tie optional, which was a big deal for us after so many years. So we thought we would, continue that tradition of changing things up by going virtual this year. We are hoping and praying that in 2021 we'll be able to get back together in some form, whether it be New York or elsewhere, we'll see. But we do think and really believe in our hearts that continuing the PBC celebration, as we're calling it, is very, very important. What I'm going to do is turn it over to Father Pillars. As we do with most of these type of events, we ask Father to give us an update on what's going on at the university, where he's been focused, some of the challenges, and some of his goals and objectives. But before I do want to just make a special call out and thanks to Father and his entire staff and faculty for all the hard work that they've gone through over these past several months at getting the university ready to accept the students back in August. We've seen the news recently, and Father will talk about it. It is a challenge like we've never experienced. And Father and his leadership with the rest of the faculty and administration, I know I'm very proud, and I'm sure you all are as well of that. And I want to thank you, Father, and your team for everything you've done through these very, very challenging times. So with that, I'm very, very pleased to introduce Father Pillars, our university president, for his update. Father, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Frank. And as always, thank you for your incredible vision, your support, your love for the University of Scranton, and your leadership of the PBC, which we need, as you mentioned, we need it now more than ever. So thank you for being the kind of loyal alum and member of the board and all the ways in which you serve this university so well and are an exemplar of what people who love Scranton do for the university. As you mentioned, these are unique times in the history of the university, and I'm aware of it probably more acutely every day. We've got a moving set of targets that we're paying a lot of attention to. First and foremost, we are dedicated to the safety and well-being of our students, of our staff, and our faculty. And I have to tell you that all three of those groups are just showing tremendous character through this time. Matt Haggerty on our board said a few weeks ago, and I've stolen the line, that adversity doesn't reveal character. I'm sorry, adversity doesn't build character, adversity reveals character. And the character of this university has never been revealed more clearly than it has been for me since March, really, when we began to work through this set of challenges together. We've been assiduous in working hard to make sure that people feel safe on the campus. And to that end, we've instituted a program of testing, both of students and faculty and staff. We do that every day, every week. The numbers so far have been what we would call manageable, but those numbers change every day. In an earlier video that I put out to the university community, I asked for their patience as we try to sort out the complications of these days. And so far I can say they've been more than patient. They've been just tremendously generous. As Frank noted, in times such as these, we really need you, our most loyal friends and supporters, to be with us in a very special, unique way. We need the PBC now, maybe more than we ever did. In fact, I'd go out on a limb and say, we need you now more than we ever have. What you make possible here at the university is absolutely stunning. And if there's a moment when we need to shine, it's now. And that's why I'm thrilled that the PBC is undaunted in the face of these challenges that we face right now. And who better to celebrate than John and Maggie Mariotti and Monsignor Quinn, three people who have been so enmeshed in the life of the university, so generous, such great leaders. I'm very, very happy that we can celebrate them in a very unique way because they're unique people. So we've never done the PBC virtually before, but if we're going to do it with anybody, these would be the three people that I think can make the most of it. And I'm just delighted that they're willing to let us celebrate them and celebrate Scranton on October 8th. What I would ask you more than anything else is keep the university in your prayers. Students in particular, you can imagine for freshmen, for example, how odd this is for them. They're here, we're all here, making the most of it, but it is a tough transition for all of us. We want to stay face to face as long as we can. We may have to pause along the way, as some other universities have done, to make sure that we're safe. But above and beyond all that, pray for us as we pray for you. This is one great family, and I'm more aware of that, as I said, every day. So please pray for the Scranton family. And as always, God bless you. God bless the University of Scranton. Thank you.
Father Plars, thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed the brief montage. You saw your face up there. You remember what you looked like so many years ago. It's really my honor and privilege to introduce my vice chair, Elizabeth Madden. Elizabeth is going to speak briefly and then introduce our honorees this evening, and we'll hear from them after that. So over to you, Elizabeth. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you, Frank. And let me echo the same appreciation to you, Father Pillars, for all that you've done for the university over the many years and certainly over the past several months. It is my pleasure to introduce you to two of this year's President Medal recipients. Margaret Maggie Quinn Mariotti is a retired clinical audiologist whose private practice included offices in Honesdale and Clark Summit. She has had several clinical audiologist positions at various institutions, including the U.S. Army Hospital Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic at Fort Stewart, Georgia, and the National Technical Institute for the Deaf in Rochester, New York. Dr. Mariotti also taught as an adjunct professor in the Communication Sciences and Disorders program at Marywood University. She was a Pennsylvania Speech and Hearing Association liaison and served as a board member of the State Board of Speech, Language, and Hearing Examiners, the Women's Resource Center, and the IHM Foundation. Maggie was a member of the University of Scranton's Board of Trustees from 2003 through 2010. Dr. Mariotti earned a bachelor's degree in communication sciences and disorders from Marywood University, a master's degree in audiology from Temple University, and a doctorate in audiology from the University of Florida. John Mariotti, the class of 1975, has worked as an orthodontics and dental facial orthopedics practitioner for 35 years and is certified by the American Board of Orthodontics. Dr. Mariotti earned a bachelor's degree in biology from the university and a doctor of dental medicine degree from Temple University. He was commissioned as a U.S. Army captain in the Army Dental Corps at Fort Stewart, Georgia. After completing his tour of duty, John pursued his postgraduate degree in orthodontics at the Eastman Dental Center at the University of Rochester. At Eastman, he conducted research in growth and development and TMJ disorders. Dr. Mariotti served as president and chair of the board of Scranton District Dental Society and is the past board president of the Middle Atlantic Society of Orthodontics. As an active member of the university's Medical Alumni Council, he became a member of the university's Board of Trustees in 2019. The Mariottis, who reside in Jefferson Township, have 4 children. Their daughter Janie is a member of the class of 2010. Please join me in welcoming Maggie and John and congratulating them on this honor.
Thank you. We're so honored to be recipients of this PBC award, especially from an institution that we all know and love so dearly, the University of Scranton. We feel so blessed to be part of the university family. We also want to thank Father Polaris for his leadership and guidance during this very, very difficult time. He's done an outstanding job. And again, no one could have done better than you, Father. Thanks so much. In addition, we're also humbled to be in a group of such distinguished previous recipients. It's quite astounding to see the list as the faces roll by of the group that we're now in. So again, thanks very much. We look forward to October the 8th. Please be safe.
Thank you.
Maggie and John, thank you so much. We're really looking forward to getting together again on the 8th. So now I'd like to introduce our next medals, President's Medal recipient. Monsignor Joseph G. Quinn of the class of 1972 has been a priest in the Diocese of Scranton for 35 years and currently serves as the pastor of Our Lady of the Snows Parish in Clark Summit. For 16 years, he was the rector of St. Peter's Cathedral, the home parish of the University of Scranton, and prior to that, he was the vice president for mission and ministry at Fordham University, just around the corner from my house here. Monsignor Quinn received a bachelor's degree in accounting from the university. When I read that, Father, I always knew there was something special I really enjoyed and liked about you, and now I know what it is. As a fellow accountant, Mary Beth Farrell, I'm sure, can appreciate this as well, the kindred spirit. He then went on to get his JD from Seton Hall University. He was appointed a federal magistrate judge for the U.S. District Court at the age of 25, becoming the youngest person in the country to serve in that position. After he resigned his post, he entered the seminary and completed his studies at the North American College in Rome, earning graduate degrees in theology from the Gregorian University and the Anglicum University. He holds dual degrees in canon law from the University of Ottawa and St. Paul's University in Ottawa as well. Monsignor Quinn has served on numerous boards, including as a member of the Board of Advisors of the North American College and as the founding chairman of the Scranton Preparatory School Board of Trustees. He's a former member of the University Board of Trustees, which he served on for 15 years. He's been a longtime friend of the university, a longtime friend of mine, a dear friend, and I'm just honored, Monsignor, that you'll be joining your sister and brother-in-law in accepting this award. So please, over to you.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks so much. I'm in shock because I thought Maggie was going to talk for all 3 of us. I can't believe that, that we're going to say a word here as well. Father Polaris, my thanks to you first and foremost. As Maggie and John indicated, we are humbled by the choice that you have made this year. The day it was announced, I must tell you that a good mutual friend of many of us here on board tonight, PJ Carlissimo, called me all the way from the West Coast, and he said, I am stunned. I can understand Maggie and John getting it. I don't know what they have you on the list for. All I know is I'm humbled and grateful for it. I'm thankful to you, Frank. I'm thankful to Kip. I'm thankful to Elizabeth. I'm thankful to Tim and to Tom for all that they do to make this happen. As Father Pilar said, probably more than ever, it is so important that we support the university in this fashion. And our shared hope for all of us is that this is enormously successful, even if it is only virtually undertaken. It's one of those times when I understand all the more fully the AMDG that is part of every Jesuit institution. I grew up and thought that it meant that athletes must drink Gatorade. But I learned no, it means that alumni must donate generously. And I hope that's the case, because as I approach my own 50th anniversary, just 2 years away, as the years go on, I'm all the more grateful for what the University of Scranton meant to my life, to the life of all who were fortunate enough to go there, and especially as somebody whose life has been rooted in Scranton, what it means to our entire community. It is a time to support it ever more so. And especially with this extraordinary leader at the helm, himself a profile of courage, living courage, a character of the first order because of the great values and virtues that he shares with all of us and inspires us to do going forward. So thank you. It is beyond believing or embracing, because I think I've been to almost all 19 dinners over the course of these years. And as my brother-in-law, John, pointed out, it is really overwhelming to look at the list of all those who preceded us and to recognize the goodness and the fullness of their lives lived in the best of Ignatian traditions, selflessly, lovingly, and always with and for others. God bless you. Thanks again, Frank.
Monsignor Quinn, thank you so much, and to you and Maggie and John as well for accepting the invitation to be honored this year. As Father Pilar's pointed out earlier, as we head down the next few weeks, there are no three other people that I think we would like to go on this journey with, and we greatly appreciate your support and your willingness to do so. Before we close up tonight's program, let me provide a brief update on this year's celebration and our planning. From the beginning, we have remained focused on building on the 18-year history of our annual dinner. And that means keeping our three main objectives central to what we do. Those objectives are to celebrate our university, to support our students, and to recognize individuals for their career achievements and their demonstrated extraordinary compassion for others. While we recognize the challenge of today's environment, we feel that it is still important to move forward as best as we can to secure support for our student scholarships. In an effort to increase the number of students who will benefit from this year's event, proceeds from our celebration will continue to support the PBC's annual designation, which is the Presidential Scholarship Endowment Fund for merit-based scholarships. But a portion of this year's proceeds will also be designated to the James P. Sweeney SJ Fund, Family Outreach Fund, for students facing unexpected financial hardships. And as a way to recognize Father Pilar's leadership during this pandemic, to the Scott R. Pilar's SJ Scholarship, a need-based scholarship established in 2011 by the Sorbera family. This year's virtual experience requires us to discover how we can bring aspects of our in-person event to the virtual world while also incorporating some new elements. One of the advantages of our virtual event is the opportunity for us to engage more members of the university community on October 8th than we have with the in-person event. I think it is evident by tonight's national attendance of the opportunities that this presents us. The October 8th event will be viewable to the public and will include fundraising opportunities during the event. This may be different from other virtual events that you have attended, which may require a virtual ticket. But we feel that providing open access to this year's celebration will allow those who may not normally be able to attend our gala in New York City to experience it this year. While tonight formally kicks off our fundraising efforts, like any successful campaign, I am happy to report that we have already received some early commitments towards this year's event. We will continue our fundraising efforts over the next month, and we will soon announce a few silent auction items on our PBC Celebration website. Historically, our event raises over $1 million each year. While we do not know what this will yield this year, we are optimistic by the early support and those responses that we have received thus far. We are grateful for those early commitments and for everyone's consideration to not only financially support our students, but to join us on October 8th to celebrate Scranton, our students, and our honorees. Let me bring Frank in for some final thoughts before we bring everyone back on screen for one final thank you. Frank, any last words?
Tim, thanks for that. Again, you see we are trying to change things up a little bit here, a lot. Going to have a silent auction. We've been talking about this for, I think, 16 years, Tim, so why not start it in 2020? We will be, peppering the alum with notices and emails around the celebration. As Tim said, we're not going to have tickets, so we're really hoping we get a very large turnout to honor Maggie, John, and Monsignor Quinn, and raise that very, very important scholarship funds. The other change that Tim mentioned, which I don't want to neglect to reiterate, is this, the widening of the scholarships and sources that we are going to use this year's fundraising for. Father Pilar's scholarship and the Sweeney Fund for underprivileged students that need it. We couldn't think of better places to direct some of this year's fundraising. So please keep that in mind. We would really appreciate your continued support. With that, I will say thank you very much. And it was great seeing you. Maggie, John, Monsignor, congratulations again. We're really looking forward to next month to get together, and have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Good night, all. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
I want to also
Virtually royal.
congratulate you. I want to thank Elizabeth Madden. I want to thank Father Pilars. I want to thank our university IT team who helps make this possible each time we click on broadcast and get started in the IT world. All those viewing, I ask you to please stay current on our PBC Celebration website. We'll be updating that regularly. Thank you again for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on October 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.